Hey, what's going on, black man? Hey, welcome in the room, man. Y'all coming in by the droves right now. Hey, welcome. We're gonna get into some great stuff tonight. We're gonna be talking about this is kind of our series that we're moving on for. But man, real quick, I just want to know real quick, how many of y'all saw that game with the Heat, right? The other night, man, Jimmy Butler put it on them, boy. Jimmy Butler put it on. I gotta always give a shout out. Jimmy Butler is a Chicago guy who came through. Chicago. We got to rep. Jimmy Butler was the truth. But real quick, oh man, come on, Marlon. You told Miami, man. We know you from Miami. We know. But Jimmy Butler came in. Tony, welcome in to Tony. Welcome, man, family. Hey, guys, come on in. Do me a favor real quickly. Let's make sure that we like. I need a couple things just for the guys who are here early and you in the mode. Can you please do me a favor? And if you have not subscribed on YouTube, I know a lot of you guys come through Facebook. If you have not subscribed on YouTube, please do that. Subscribe on YouTube, but also like, follow on Facebook, and then share it on the social media platform you're on. Just be like, hey, I want you to put the text like this. Put Black men are live, right? Put Black men are live in the text if you can. We will go through some awesome things tonight and put some things together. Really looking forward to, man, how this is going to go tonight again. But Tony said he missed the game. But real quick, just want another census. Now we had a couple games. We saw Denver and the Lakers. I'm curious for the brothers in the room, who you got winning it all? I asked about the finals last time, but tonight I want to know, who do you have winning it all? Who do you have taking it all? I want to know. Who do you have taking it all? Black, thank you, man. Fashion Father Anthony, welcome in the building, baby. Who you got taking it all? Let me know. All right. Marlon, we know you got Miami. We already know. Black Men Are Live. What's going on, y'all? This is awesome. Who you got taking it all? I mean, everyone's got their little tip in. All right. Some people still got Denver, the Celtics. All right, Rick. All right. Celtics rolling. I see you. Okay. All right. Denver. Look, I like Denver too, man. I like what they're doing out there, be honest with you. The way they coming in the game right now is crazy. Denver is like, they got a great team. They got great camaraderie. LA. All right, Lee. I see Lee, LA. All right. Hey, guys, again, we're about to get started, but please share and like. Please share that. Let all the black men know, hey, we're live. We're talking black men stuff tonight. Hey, look, so tonight's going to be real good because we're going to get into identity, right? And I got some stuff I kind of want to show. So we're talking about identity and opportunity. I want to share what I would call this nuance that we exist. Okay, I got, oh my gosh. Oh, now everyone coming in. Lonzo, Nathaniel, welcome, black man. Charlie, welcome, black man. Okay, y'all coming in the building now. Okay, everyone's coming through. It's all good though. Hey, but this idea, man, and we're gonna be real concise tonight. We talked about the black tax, right? Now, a lot of you guys were here when we talked about that, and I got some great feedback. And the fact that what it did for a lot of us was that a lot of people felt relieved, right? We talked about a lot of people felt relieved, and I think they felt relieved because there was this sense of therapy almost, right? When I went through the numbers and we talked about, black income is about 50% of that, which is, white. At least, again, we talked about the Western world. I know we got a lot of brothers from Africa here. We talked about the Western world, right? And we talked about the income. Then we talked about the wealth. And we talked about the fact that a lot of times our wealth is depleted because of the obligations and the things that we take on as men and black men with the women and the people and the families and stuff around us, especially good black men, right? Taking on those other responsibilities. And so unfortunately, some of these things are what I would deem as become other obligations that we have to, essentially take on. And so our journey in navigating that a lot of times is a little different, right, than maybe others because we take that on. and we have to do that, right? And so tonight we're going to get into a couple things. One is Black identity, but also the opportunity. And next Monday, we're going to go deeper into the opportunity, but I want you all to hold tight tonight because we're going to go into some history and some things. And again, tonight, I'll be honest with you, tonight will not be a heavy money-making night, right? I went through money-making. We talked about a lot of that stuff. We're going to get more into money-making because I want all you guys to get the bag. But I want you to know I'm very, very conscious of the fact that it's difficult for us to make money, right? Or even to excel to the levels of wealth we want to excel to when we do not have our identity, okay? I'll say that again. Making money, brothers, will never give you identity. Now, some people will tell you, hey, no, man, well, whatever. Look, is it better to be wealthier than poor? For sure. Is it better to have money in your pocket than not? For sure. But I will tell you, it will not give you identity. Now, I don't want to get into, I can't get into like what I call the religious text, the Quran, the Bible, the Torah, okay? But I don't want to get into deeply into that except this part of it. Whenever you read the spiritual book of the faith that you follow, and let's just be clear, most of our faiths, right, that we follow were in most cases given to us, right? Only about 5 or 10% of people actually switch their faiths in today's time from whether it's Buddhism, Islam, Christianity, or the like, okay? But one thing you do find in religious texts that is across all religious texts is that they talk about the history and they talk about the lineage of the individuals. They talk about the names, the stock they come from, right? Who was their father? Who was their grandfather? Who was the person that created the stone, the rock, right? And as men, that is an important aspect to who we are, understanding our history and understanding our identity, right? Again, don't want to get religious, but I do want to know if you go into the text yourself, you will always find in all religious texts that you will see, without a doubt, that there is a constant reminder of who they are. There's an identification of who they are as a man, who they are, who was their father, who was their forefather, and hey, if you understand what I'm saying real quick, put a one in the text. Put a one in the text. If you understand what I'm talking about, please put a one in the text. You've read the Bible, you've read the Quran, you've read the Torah, and you've seen that trend of things where people are talking about those type of things in the text. Okay. All right. Good. So Terrence is with us. Rick, everyone, Joe. All right. Appreciate it. All right. So that's first off. Right. Now, historically, as many of us know, so look, some of this part is going to be, some of you guys like, yep, I know that. Some of you guys are going to be like, yo, I never heard that before. So we're going to have two parties here. Now, historically, we lived in a world, right, for a season of our lives. So we were essentially what we call hunter-gatherers, right? So we hunted, we gathered, we created communities. Then we moved into a phase of agriculture where it was more farming, right? I would say if you look at BC times, like close to or going into AD times, we went into our agricultural farming type of society, right? Where people had their land, their crops, all that kind of stuff. Then you go into post-AD, is when you start to see what we call empires, right? A lot of empires being built. Now, although there was always empires, a lot of those empires were like what you call adjacent to each other, right? And we're gonna go through some of these empires tonight. They were all adjacent, right? Whether it was China, whether it was Mongolia, whether it was Africa, Niger. Hey, welcome, brothers. I know, hey, people coming into the room, man. Welcome. Everybody give them love. Welcome to the room. Welcome, black man. But in the last 1,500, 2,000 years, there became this thing of what you call empires and conquering. And when empires and conquering started to happen, thank you, Barry, for welcoming everybody to the room. What took place, black man, was that once you conquer someone else, you would destroy their history. Okay? If you look at Egypt, the library, right? Once the Romans came in, right? And you know the history of Cleopatra, right? And what happened with Julius Caesar and such, they came and they burned, right? The library, okay, of Alexandria, which had all the Egyptian history and all of the ways they built mathematics, trigonometry, all of that, language, everything, right? In Alexandria, okay? I'm going off the dome here. So if I miss a couple historical facts, for those of our history buffs here, I want you to know I know this stuff because I've read it, I lived it, everything else. But, right, talk about the history of the library of Alexandria that was burned down, right, from the Romans. When they took over places, right, the kingdom of Kush, we'll talk about that a little bit tonight too, right? The kingdom of Kush, which a lot of people don't know about the kingdom of Kush. We talk about in Sudan. A lot of people don't know, hey, the first pyramids were not even in Egypt. The first pyramids were in Sudan, right? And they were created there, right, as monuments and people there, right? And so essentially, when they conquered other people, the first thing they had to do was destroy their history. Because when people understand who they are, I want you to understand this, black man. On this portion, please understand this. No matter all the trauma you've been through, okay, no matter all of the racism, the discrimination, everything that you had to encounter in your life, when you have an anchor, okay, when you have an anchor of identity, although all of those things happen, when you understand your history and you have an anchor, all of a sudden, that gives you solace. That gives you, look at that muscle right there. You see that? That gives you strength. Okay? That gives you strength. Why is that? Because in our genealogy as human beings, okay, this is why one of the greatest commandments of all time, one of the first commandments was, look, honor who? Your mother and your father. Why? So your days can be long, because they are part of who you are. Okay? You cannot remove your identity because they birthed you, right? They're part of who you are. And so, in tonight's lessons, we go through this real quickly here. I want to make sure I give a framework. Okay? I didn't learn this stuff in school. Most of our history as black men in modern day, we have to teach ourselves. But it's important, black man, that you teach yourself so that you can teach your children. You understand? You can teach your nieces, your nephews, so they can understand that these modern, let me say what it is, right? The modern kingdoms and empires of whether it's, Robert Smith, Jay-Z, or, you talk about corporations or whatever it is, like that's been done in the past. That's just a repeat. But they need to understand the men and the people, right, who were created, right, and who existed before they were. Now, I'm going to go through this real quick. Does anybody in here know? Real question. Okay, you got to put it up in 5 seconds. Don't be using Google. Okay, don't Google this. Who on record was the richest man, as we know in history? And it wasn't Rockefeller or Carnegie, okay? All right? Man, single man, right, in history was a black man, okay? The richest man recorded, documented in history wasn't King Solomon. Solomon had a bag. Wasn't King Solomon. The richest man in history. Oh, love it, love it, love it. It's coming through. Right, thank you so much. Some of you guys knew for sure, right? Was Mansa Musa. Does anybody know what empire he was a part of? He had created an empire, okay? All right? Mansa Musa, thank you, black man, thank you so much. Mansa Musa created, I'm going to put this in the screen if I can, so you guys can see that real good, right? Okay. That's Mansa Musa, okay? He was part of the Mali Empire, okay? Mali, which is a place that still exists today as an African country. This man was so rich because of their mining efforts and everything they created, right? They say that his net worth was around what they can estimate, okay? Oh, not Mali, not Bali, Mali. If my team can put Mansa Musa on the screen, Mansa Musa, right, of the Mali Empire, okay? Right? Mansa Musa of the Mali Empire, his net worth was north of $400 billion. Now, that's what they can understand. He was so rich. When he would travel, he would give away gold as presents, okay? To like men who was just literally journeying, okay? Mansa Musa, okay? So please understand, I know Jeff Bezos got a bag, okay? I know that, Bill Gates, he's doing nice. I know Jay-Z, hey, he's killing it. All respect for your work and your efforts. But understand, Mansa Musa created Forbes before there was Forbes. You understand what I'm saying? Created Forbes before there was Forbes. All right, next, I wanted to talk about another guy, right? And again, I'm going to bounce around in some of the history. I'm going to bounce around a little bit, right? But I want to talk about places that a lot of us may not know, but I'm giving this history lesson because if I'm telling you, black man, hey, look, that you can live your dreams, that you can reach the success that you want to reach, I want to give examples, even names you may or may not heard of, okay? So that you are familiar with these names from an identity perspective, right? No matter who you are, where you are in the world, okay? All right. The next brother I want to talk about, well, it's not necessarily a brother, but it's an empire, okay? All right, I'm gonna put that up, all right? It's called the Songhai Empire, okay? The Songhai Empire, okay? Songhai Empire. This empire was considered one of the largest and greatest empires during pre-colonial period. Now, understanding history, okay? There's this period that the Europeans put together because they colonized, right? What we call it pre-colonial, which meaning that before there was colonization that existed, right? The kind of the Assyrians, the Romans, right? Before we had colonization, we're talking about that pre-period that existed, right? Okay. This empire was part of the Niger Empire. If you look up Niger is in like north of Nigeria, that area, okay, right? And basically in that empire, it was ruled on we when we talk about Timbuktu, that's where Timbuktu come from. You know, when they mimic these jokes, like, oh, you should go back to Timbuktu, right? It was it was one of the most important places of global trade. So think about this. This empire would be your modern day New York, your modern day Hong Kong, your modern day London, right? LA, Chicago, or you could say, I'm trying to think of what's the one? Beijing, right? Places of trade where a lot of trade activity come because of the location. Okay. So this one, oh man. I mean, this was crazy. You want to know what's crazy about this empire? This empire is really what kind of I'm not gonna say it opened it up, but because so many Europeans at the time were coming for trade, it's what kind of opened us up as a people to Western slavery. Okay, because they were coming to trade, doing all this kind of stuff, and they started to notice and see, essentially, right, all the black people, right? And it was like, oh my gosh, and then obviously all the propaganda around that started to exist, okay? I want to talk about another group of people. Again, this is just going through some identity stuff, because a lot of people think that, and you probably have heard of these guys before, a lot of people think that, hey, once we had colonialism and all of that stuff, a lot of people believe that blacks in some ways were not a part of, and there's this notion, I hate to say it, white is right. We think that, oh my gosh, like, white people got it all. But I want y'all to know, everything you see now in Western European culture essentially was borrowed, and it's okay to do this. In business, you should do this, right? But essentially what they did, they borrowed things from other places. So the gun and gunpowder had been in Asia, particularly China, for thousands and thousands of years. But they only used the gunpowder for their festivals, for their New Year's festivals, for the dragon festivals. And so they took the gunpowder and they said, oh my gosh, this stuff, it makes things explode, right? And so they made guns, right? All these things that existed for millennia, right? So they borrowed a whole lot of things, right? Made it their own, right? Called themselves Great Britain, the Great Portuguese, whatever you want to call it, okay, right? And they basically took these things and essentially what I would call put it all together, right? To use, there's a good movie out, you should watch this. It's called Guns, Germs, and Steel. Okay, they took guns, they took germs, and they took their germs, they took their steel to basically like propagate the world and create these. Again, I'm not here. It does us no good to do any what I call white bashing or doing like I don't want people to feel guilty. None of that stuff, right? I'm all about as Black men knowing where we are today and how do we push the envelope forward. How do we help more Black millionaires? How do we get more brothers to the table, right? At tables that they should be at so that they can win. That's what I'm about. So this is not about, look, I want you to know the history so you know better and how the game works. But basically, they took all these pieces from around the world. One of the things they did, we had a group of men, and some of you guys are familiar with them. They were called the Moors, okay? Right? Okay? The Moors actually were Black men that were in King James's court, okay? King James court, okay? 1400s, 1500s. These Black men were some of the greatest advisors to the king, okay? 1400s, to the kings of Europe. These Black men, right? The Black Moors of King James, okay? Black Moors of King James. These guys basically they came in, they were from sub-Saharan Africa for the most part, and basically they advised and gave them, similar to what Egypt did. Egypt did this too. Egypt basically gave the Romans the calendar. People don't know this. The whole calendar we live by today, that calendar was in Africa for centuries, right? And then we gave that calendar, that knowledge, that insight to the Romans. And then the Romans, through their guns, their steel, right, their swords, essentially took on that calendar and made it a mandated calendar. Now, just real quick, guys. Look, I see you guys, I hear you guys are listening. Real quick, is this good information? I want to know if I'm doing okay. Is this good information? Please let me know. Put a 1 in the chat. If you're tracking with me, if you're following me, you can ask whatever questions we follow in the chat. I just want to know that I'm tracking with everybody, okay? Tracking with everybody. Because I want to go into the next thing, which our current identity, right? But I want you to know where we are. Right, thank you, Lamar. Thank you, brother. All right, good stuff. Marcus tracking, Tracy tracking. Good stuff. Hey, look, please, share this on your page. Let say Black man, we in the room. When you share it, let Black men know we're in the room. Right? Because we're talking to us. This is for us and by us, okay? For us and by us, right? So Moors in the court, they were paid. Hold on. They received crowns and expensive gifts because they were giving King James this valuable information and knowledge, not only on how to rule, right? But they were letting him understand some of the nuances of world and global trade. Because Africa, and you could go back in history, talk about Pangea, but essentially the birthplace of man is Africa, right? That's the birthplace of man. We now know that. It's undisputed. Like you can't dispute it anymore. The oldest fossils, the oldest thing that is in Africa, the birthplace of man is in Africa. We know this now. Science, the oldest skeleton, everything. You go to Uganda, you go to Ethiopia, you go to parts of, let's see, East Africa, you see the vegetation, you see every animal, every former dinosaur, okay, you can think of is there, right? And so we now know this. And so they were bringing to King James the knowledge. They were bringing to King James the insight, how to rule, the things that they had tried. They had gone through democracy. They had gone through monarchies. They had gone through different systems. Here are different systems, brothers, that you can use in order to rule, right? Okay? Nothing about race, nothing about culture, just helping out our brothers and helping out the European brothers in how to rule, okay? And how to rule. And so with that, I wanted to go through a couple of those things. The other thing I wanted to go through real quick, and I think is important, is another empire that you don't hear a lot about, right? Is Nubia. Okay, I'm gonna put up Nubia real quick. Now this is years and years and years, right? Earlier, right? But Nubia is another one. Okay, okay. And Alara of Nubia was an amazing. I'm just gonna put this up here. You probably never heard of this guy. Alara of Nubia, okay? He was the first known king of Kush, okay? First known king of Kush, right? And it looks like he ruled essentially Egypt and Sudan. So he ruled Egypt and Sudan, right? Basically, this place, it flourished because they had very much strategic planning. So everything we know about what we call city planning or city planning and strategic planning, when you plan out a city, that started in Kush, okay? And so he was one of the first kings of Kush that started that ideology. Understand, when you see Egypt today and Sudan today, the pyramids, that was all planning, okay? That was all planning. This is why, brothers, you must plan out. Listen to me. This is part of your heritage and your history. You must have a plan for your children, for your family. You must have a plan. This isn't stage talk, okay? You must have a plan of how you believe these things are going to operate and go in your life. One thing we're going to do, I'm going to do with us, we're probably going to have a retreat at some point, okay? Anybody interested in a black man retreat? Anybody? I'm going to put it in the chat. Put retreat in the chat if you're interested in having a black man retreat for us and by us. But we're going to have a retreat, and part of that retreat is going to be our own self-planning, right? And that planning essentially is saying, hey, look, who's in your family? Who are the areas? We all got them, right? And what is it? Thank you, Barry. Chucky, hi. I love you guys. Hi, Rick. Like, we're going to plan this out to set up a plan for ourselves, right? And at the very least, there's a plan that we have, okay? Understanding our past, okay? Understanding our current situation and the future, now we can make strategic decisions. I understand. Look, the plan that you have for your family, you might not accomplish it all. Listen to me. You might not accomplish it all. But if the plan has been set in place and put in motion, your kids, your nieces, your nephews, the legacy you live will be what will be able to accomplish that plan. All right. Look, we're going to wrap something up real quick. Before I wrap, I want to wrap up something up. Before I wrap it up, my team, could you please cue the testimonials real quick? Please cue that on some stuff, because I want to go through a very specific thing for everyone here tonight. To talk about modern day and some identity things, and really pull back a layer and talk about precursor, what the opportunity is. So my team, let me know if we got that set up, right? I want to go through this. And look, this is not a stage talk, not selling, nothing like that. I want to show you some testimony, because if we as a people and as black men, I got to tell you, let's say once you get the bag, all right? Some of you guys got the bag. You listen to me, you're already rich, okay? And you get to the top, what you will find out is that when Jay-Z wrote that verse and he said, man, what's better than one billionaire too? He said, they'll take your check, but they'll never give you leverage, right? That's a very real thing. But go ahead, go ahead, team. Go ahead and play the video real quick. Hey guys, listen. 1 minute. Listen to this, and I want you guys to come back because some of you guys have never seen this or heard it, but I want you guys to see it. Go ahead and play the video, team, for the brothers, and then we're going to come right back, and I'm going to talk about current identity and opportunity and what exists, but why we need each other in this time. Why we need each other. I'm gonna give you guys some real examples of this. Why we need. Go ahead, team, play the video. We're set. We're ready.
I met Dave about 4 years ago. My first business cracked 7 figures, and it was actually an interesting time to meet Dave because I oftentimes say you can't just be wealthy overnight. You actually got to have somebody to teach you the game. And DA kind of stepped in and took me and my business partner under his wing and showed us how to kind of maneuver this very dangerous game that we play called business. And within 6 months, DA was actually able to help us obtain a $200,000 line of credit. And then 6 months after that, he actually helped us secure a $3 million line of credit that we were able to obtain in real estate.
After sitting down with David and going through some ideas and some concepts, in the first 6-7 months, I think we did roughly about $10 million together. It's an exceptional program, and David did something for me that no one else had ever done. He taught me the power of global expansion and really understanding the importance of an international network and how we can build on that network. Him and I have done projects that surpassed the $20-30 million mark. My life has changed in more ways than one for the better from the development of our relationship. And I'm just so happy that you have brought me in to the fold and have shown me how important the power of a network internationally from a professional perspective or a personal perspective can be, and I'm ever so grateful.
Look, man, I showed that because I'm about to tell you guys a story, right? The reason why we need each other, we have to understand our identity. Like those guys, we've done a ton of business together, right? The reason why you have to understand your identity, brother, I want you to hear me when I say this. And understand your other brothers need to understand it because you have to help them because you need each other. Just had a situation with that brother that I helped get the $3 million line of credit, right? All that stuff. So mind you, I've had different lines. I've had all type of stuff. So I myself was going through, just different cash stuff, moving money around, all kinds of stuff was happening. And so I forgot that my renewal was up on the line of credit, right? I forgot, right? And because, whatever was going on in my life, I just wasn't aware of it, right? So they removed the line of credit, right? So imagine, you got access. Imagine this, guys. You have access to $3 million. I'm talking to you now. $3 million you have access to on a line, right? Pull it down, draw it down, submit whatever. Whoa. Then all of a sudden, it's gone. So mind you, I had plans for that bread and that money. But because I helped another brother, because we had a little circle, okay? And I helped him do it. Guess what happened? When I said to him, hey, bro, this is what happened, he said, you know what, Dave? Hey, no problem. I got you. You feel me? Right? I got you. See, what happens is that as you continue to excel and go up, the risks get harder, right? As you continue to go up. Now in this example, we're talking about a line of credit. A large line of credit, $3 million, nothing to sneeze at. Come on, $3 million line of credit. But, brothers, I want you to understand this. If I had not created my own tribe, my own nucleus of brothers who understood what it meant to be a black man, who understood what it meant, right? When things get in the way, things happen, whatever the case may be, then I would not have had another stool to stand on. Remember that other week I talked about stools, right? I played the video talking about when we had the brother who was talking about the I forgot it was the rapper, right? Oh my gosh, can't think of his name right now. But we talked about, he was like, man, we need the barber to be the best barber. We need the finance guy to be the best. Like we can no longer operate as crabs in a bucket. I don't care if you went to Harvard. I don't care if you went to Stanford. I don't care if you worked at the best company. I don't care if you have $100 million company. If you are a black man in the world, and I don't care if you think, hey, you may feel like you OJ, right? He's like, I ain't black, I'm OJ. How many remember that, right? OJ said he ain't black, he OJ. He wasn't black until he was in that court. And then he realized, hold up, like, until the cop that showed up with the swastika, okay, right? Okay. So what I want to say to us tonight in the identity, please, knowing our identity is important in this next era. Listen to me. Africa and blacks around the world are going to be the most important resource in history, right? Because of where the world is going. We're going to get more into that on Monday. So I'm telling you guys right now, you want to put it in your phone, 8 p.m. Central on the dot, okay, on Monday, because we're going to talk about what's about to happen. But I'm about to precursor it real quick. You ready for this? China now, and lots of Asia, even Malaysia and some other places, right? Vietnam is still catching up. Their GDP per capita now remember, they got 1.67 billion people, okay? They now have their GDP per capita is roughly about 12,000, 13,000. Now, that may not seem like a lot to America, but understand there's 1.6 billion people, 1.6 billion people, okay? They now are going into a service-driven economy. They are moving away from a manufacturing economy. China, listen to me. You heard it right here. I was in China for 3 years. Understand, listen to me. China now is moving away from a manufacturing economy. They're moving away from it. Hey, look at the history. Europe, they moved away from it, right? They industrialized. They built their economy, right? Built it up. And what happened? Manufacturing then went where? It went to America, right? What happened? America industrialized, right? Well, what happened? We moved manufacturing. What did we do? We moved it to Asia. How many remember that? How remember your granddad getting laid off at the steel mill? How many of you guys remember that? How remember your father, all the manufacturing jobs? People were pissed off because they were being outsourced, right? Globally, they were being moved out. Remember that? Okay? They're moving away. China now has developed to a point in parts of Asia where now they're moving manufacturing away from China, and guess where it's going next? Africa. Now, who has the greatest advantage? Look, when manufacturing was in China, and there's a Chinese guy sitting in South Africa or sitting in America, right? Okay? Okay, right. Who was at that time? Who was the best person? It would be a Chinese. Why? Because he has language, he has affiliation, he has identity, right? So what I want to tell you is that as product manufacturing moves to Africa over the next decade, it's going to be one of the biggest. Again, I'm going to go through many wealth creation opportunities that exist. But it will be one of the biggest wealth creation opportunities that we've seen for our people as a whole. Now, what could happen is we just allow the Chinese and other people to come into the lands, okay? And we show up and they just do the manufacturing with our people and then they sell it. But I want to prepare brothers who are smart, who are business-minded, who are understanding economics, right? This is why I say you cannot just be financially free. You have to become economically free. Because once you are economically free, you understand the economics of the world. You understand how things move and how things operate, okay? I just gave you the game. It went from Europe to America, America to Asia. And now from Asia, it was going to the motherland. Part of it is that cost of wages. Part of it is a free land, less regulations. We can go down the list of it. But brothers, I want you to know there's a grand opportunity coming. We're going to talk about this extensively on Monday. We're going to go through that. But today I wanted to talk about our identity and who we are. Please understand, brothers, from the Kush kingdom to the Mali kingdom, to Mansa Musa, to Shanghai, to a Sangha kingdom empire, to the Black Moors. Please understand your history. Because if you understand who you are and who you have been in the world, although, hey, culture changed. Look, the clothes changed, the hats changed, all that changes. But please understand, brothers, the next season belongs to you. So look, get educated, continue to listen in or get stuff. Look, I'm not doing the whole like, hey, let me just give you fluff. Let me just tell you how to be rich. Hey, come on, say it 5 times. I'm going to be rich. Say it again. I'm going to be rich. No. I want you to be practical, but also inspired by who you are and who you are created to be for the future. And if you have any form of legacy, who your legacy could be. Let me say something. You could pass down your wealth and they could lose it all. Let me tell you something. One thing they can never lose is what you teach them and the identity you give them. So if you teach them how to make the bag, although, right, they lost that bag, they're going to figure out how to do it again because you taught them. You taught them, okay? And if you teach them who they are, if you teach them, say it again, if you teach them who they are, they will never have to bow down, kowtow to any other person, religion, ethnic group, whoever it is, because they know who they are. You understand me? Right? So if they do something, it's a partnership. If they do something, it's a joint venture. If they do something, that's what it is. And we're going to navigate these systems accordingly. Brother, let me tell you something. I am excited. I am excited about what the future looks like. This movement, 1 billion Black men, we are going to change the world. Because if you get to the men, if you get to us and us understanding who we are, our identity, our ID, then you can move generations. This is why empires try to always destroy the history of a man. Because if you can tell a man that he's nothing, if you can tell a man that he's from nothing, he ain't done nothing, dude, get that out of here. That's only been, it's only been the last 100, 200 years. I don't care what they say. Black man, yeah, okay, you got 200 years. All right, for 200-300 years, we went through some slavery. We went through some stuff. They beat us up. They colonized us. They took over the land. Okay, you got it for 200-300 years. But I'm telling you right now, hey, man, we didn't even have to conquer nobody. We were holding it down for thousands of years and didn't have to conquer nobody else because that's who we are. All right? That's who we are. So, brothers, be ready on Monday. Okay? Be ready on Monday. I want you to be ready. I want you to get on Monday, please, for opportunity. I need you to get another brother, right? Get them ready. We're going to have some stuff out to let other people know, because we're going to go to manufacturing, but more than just, we're going to talk about the connection of Africa and the rest of the diaspora and what's going to happen. You know that we have the largest diaspora in the world? We got about 130 million people in our diaspora. The largest in the world. In the world, brothers. So I want us to be ready. I want you to be prepared. And be prepared to take action too. We're going to have some stuff to take action on and move on some things. But I'm excited about, look, we went through the black tax. If you haven't heard that, guys, go back to the last video, we talked about the black tax. Today, we talk about black identity, understanding who we are as black men. And then on Monday, we're going to go through black opportunity. We're probably going to do that on Monday and Thursday. It'll be 2 parts. But man, black men, look, I love y'all. Like I always tell y'all all the time, like, hey, team, get ready to play our anthem. We're going to play our anthem. But I want y'all to know, we in this to win. Let's go. You hear me? You got to be in it to win it. Let's go. And look, I'm going to see y'all at the top, as I always say, man, because the bottom is just way too crowded. Man, enjoy y'all night. Enjoy yourselves. Go make life happen. Take care of your families. Take care of who's yours. And man, black man, go do it. Hey, we're calling all black men. Calling all black men.
Calling all black men. This is a call to action. This is a call to action. An action call. Calling all black men. This is a call to action. This is a call to action. An action call for 1 million black men. I am Kwesi to put you on a call path to win. This is not a Zoom call or a call on Facebook Live. Though we are virtual, we are live. Not a call on TikTok like MLB black men, we are on the clock. Not a call from Snapchat. Move back my bat. We are on first base to Isaac Hayes Jr. fan base. We have an eye line on third base. Grand Slam, not a call from Instagram, as we don't need validation with blue checks. We are the true checks. We do checks. We write checks. We are the right checks. We do family checks. We check in on our sons and our daughters. We are black men who walks on waters because our children like to FaceTime. We are black men who FaceTime. Let's FaceTime. This is still not a call from an Android or an iPhone. It is extraterrestrial to phone home. I know sometimes black men, we have to travel around the world to be appreciated at home. But you are not alone. You are in the each one, teach one green zone, where the elusive weapon is the truth. We are the black truth. We are Paul Pierce, the truth. We are the loot. We are 1 million black men strong. We will get along as we landline. We walk across their blue and red line. Now this call is from a landline with rotary numbers and a coiled cord. We are 1 million black men on one accord. This cord and phone transmits a dial tone, whether a local call or a call of long distance. Regardless of the distance, it connected us. Social media unconnected us. Our homes need us. They soul feed us. And not just food that give us niggas-itis. I write this, our homes bleed, sweat, tears for us. Black men, it is up to us. It is on us, not to just procure the bag. Buddha bless one, share it with me. Get the info under your afro, bro. And establishing sovereignty to be a one united bank for economic just us. Black men, we must set up a family trust to an estate, because right now everything is at stake. Because we can't lead from behind, from your behind to your mind. They are public with their relevance as they use artificial intelligence in this age of information. Elon Musk bought Twitter to gather more of our information. So if I have to be the Starlink, I will break the Starlink for 1 million black men. But I won't condone our culture with misuse of our information. So I grant you David Anderson for this financial literacy education. DA went from shy Southside streets to JP Morgan, Goldman Sachs on Wall Street. From Chicago State to Harvard. At 19, he fathered the economics in his family house. DA served in President Obama administration at the White House. He lived in China for 3.5 years, learning the Chinese economy, the renminbi, To the British pound, black men, let's get this pound. To the European euro, we NBA step into the euro. To the Uganda chilling, black men, let's be empowered by our billing and be willing to learn and understand. Money is just a tool to build unshakable wealth. 7 generations deep, that DA will teach that we can compete in an economy beyond that's local. Black men, we must think global. So I present to you David Anderson to put you on this financial literacy path to win. Welcome to the movement. 1 million black men.